were.
I was gonna say, I was
Yeah.
happy to hear people that weren't just my friends laughing.
Yeah.
They-
No, it was
So funny.
I was laughing a little to myself when I was watching, but nothing like when you watch it with a group.
Y'all did burst out laughing at, and he parked in my parking space. I
Oh,
didn't know y'all had that.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially if you
on
have
street
street
parking,
Yeah.
we realized
Yeah.
there was
It's-
very
it's a
much
real,
in there that
it's a
was
real
relatable.
East Coast problem.
Yeah.
I've seen it a couple times now, but today was the day when that line really popped in.
Yeah, we definitely can relate.
Yeah.
In fairness, usually the other couple screenings we've had, there've been a lot of comedians, and comics will go, oh, that's funny, and not laugh.
No, there was a lot
there
of funny.
Yeah.
lot of funny
dialogue
stuff in
was
it.
great.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all liked it. One of old friend of mine from like high school, my old neighborhood, told me it reminded like the way it was shot reminded him of the movie Kids, and I didn't think about that.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, well then I'm just gonna pretend that that's what I meant to do.
The dialogue was very natural. Like
Yeah.
Whenever people were talking to each other, their conversations that
Yeah.
you can see yourself having. Maybe not in that situation,
Yeah.
but you know, it's very natural.
A lot of it was definitely taken from conversations I've had or from I've overheard and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, like you have a head in the box. That's a conversation, yeah.
Well, that was, we were having that conversation. Well, I mean, there's definitely a certain way, especially people from Philly, will react to finding a head in a box.
Yeah.
You captured that.
That was perfect.
I love the cop when he got stabbed. And he's like, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fucking fine. So relate to that.
Yeah.
I've said that numerous times. You know, you're angry, but you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
It's like I'm yelling, but I'm not yelling at you.
Yeah, no, I'm such a pain in the neck. That's literally how I overreact to the most minor inconvenience myself, so I just kind of put that. And then Brian Shaner is just an intense guy, so he's a very good actor. He's in the new Netflix series Tires.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, he's very
alright.
he's a very talented guy, and we're trying to work on the next project with him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. Well, does anybody have any questions for him? I have a slew, but I'm opening it up.
I have a question. So how did you come up with the idea?
That's it's a mix of a couple different things. Initially, it was our main character Drew. He has a podcast called Do Rag and a Dig Tag, and a segment in their podcast is they go over current events in the news, and one of them was literally a guy steals a box of medical supplies, but when he opens it up, it's actually like cadaver heads.
Oh.
And this was like in Denver, Colorado, or somewhere. So it's like that's funny.
There's a movie in there somewhere.
Because the article leaves it so blank. Like, was he stealing that on purpose? Was he looking for fentanyl? What was he doing? So we ran with it. Like, we thought it would be funny, like, if we made it like a sketch where it was like a glitter bomb video, but he opens it up and it's like a dead body. And the more we wrote it, it became less funny over time, and it just felt more like, well, this is a really dark thing. Maybe we should just go straight hard. See what these comics can do with, anything other than trying to be funny, and turns out it's still funny.
It worked.
Oh, yeah, it was hysterical.
But it still has that, you feel bad. I mean, you feel bad for crackhead Richie.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of do, because, I mean, he's
Well,
a crackhead.
I like the idea, that there's characters that you don't necessarily have to like, but you can still empathize with.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And it's, I don't know, I hate to call myself a satirist in that respect, but that was the one thing I was trying to do, was like, everybody who's had like a package stolen, at least I wished just numerous, like, just death and destruction on you. How dare you steal my fucking cat food or whatever,
I had a package stolen at Christmas time one time, and it was a gift for my cousin's husband, and we do this Pollyanna, and he always asks for the weirdest stuff.
I just recently had insoles stolen, and I'm pissed. Like, I just had to get them from a podiatrist. They were so,
They're
I was
expensive,
so mad. I'm like, I hate that they have comfortable feet. Like,
They stole a whole package of poopery. So I
you
just
just run around smelling.
Probably went home and smoked it.
No, the spray you put in the toilet.
Oh, I thought you meant the little
No,
potpourri to it.
It was a whole like men's
pretty good.
collection of poopery.
Yeah, some stuff you
Oh,
spray.
poopery.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that's what you get.
Oh.
I thought it was literally the dry flour.
No,
That's
it's
what I
like
did.
The little spray stuff.
Yeah, no, it's actually.
Oh my God.
Leave it to Lisa.
And
Charles.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I got one. Were the suburb scenes really shot in Ardmore, or?
No, it's cheaper and easier to shoot in South Jersey,
Ah.
and that was just because actually Ellie's mom and dad
Yeah, it's my
racially
parents'
volunteered there.
Oh, cool.
No, that's honestly probably one of the biggest issues is trying to find the locations. So whenever we do, it's like, okay, we gotta shoot now. Like, so that was the main thing. Like, I think we spent, because this project took over 2 years, so we spent about pretty much all winter in that house specifically just to get all the interior stuff.
Wow.
And then, like, the seasons change if you really pay attention. Like, in some shots, it's early fall, and other shots, it's like, oh, we're in the middle of January. But, I hope the story was better than the shots.
Oh, I thought it was great, and I have to say kudos to your acting is really phenomenal.
Yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
you
Trained
guys-
over here.
Yeah,
Wow.
you guys were great. It felt very like authentic. You mentioned it earlier, but it felt really like Philly authentic, Delco authentic.
Oh God, yeah.
It does.
Act-
I like being a Delco native. That was great too. But you guys did a
You didn't have to
phenomenal
worry
job.
about accents, cause it was natural.
Yeah.
But just the the dialogue and the locations and all. It was nice to see that.
Well, it's funny because almost every director just says, just go make a movie, whether it's good or bad. Just, get a couple buddies, go shoot in the backyard, and that's kind of what we did. Like, the house in South Philly, that's Drew's place that he's renting. Crackhead Richie, that was literally the apartment that they had, in North Philly.
Where's the pawn shop? Is that really like a pawn shop that
It's
you use?
the place, it's an antique spot called Mile Hill.
Where's
It's-
that at?
it's like Roxborough, or
Oh,
what is it?
right.
Like Eagleville. Oh, Eagleville.
Alright.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's in
Yeah,
Eagleville.
it's 610, so it's not Philly.
Because my outfit, he bought, from down the street, it was the Eagleville High School basketball coach's track. He got for like $6 too. So a friend of mine who's from the neighborhood was like, are you kidding me?
I got that in a really gauche watch.
Yeah, that's great.
I like the shots too, like when you're, in the apartment when they get Richie, with the pink and the red and, it's very like.
That was all kind of impromptu, because that opening scene was originally a proof of concept, and we didn't think we were gonna use it. In fact, we were gonna let's reshoot it, and then we thought, it felt, I think it was, and it's the one scene that's a little out of place, because like, there's little to no dialogue, and all of those noises I got the next day, even his breathing or his grunting is me.
Oh, get out.
The only thing we actually got on there is him screaming, like yelling bloody murder and all that, and nut ass rifle, like that's the only thing we got.
It reminded me of like 80 South Street.
That's what I mean. It's like very authentic the way it was put together. Yeah.
That was a weird day, because we were it's like Temple Campus, North Philly kind of area, so it's like shooting that late at night. It's like, okay, let's hope that this $10,000 camera doesn't get robbed.
Yeah.
Was it really John Hines?
No.
No.
Again, that was
It was literally
Okay.
right out back of my house.
Okay. No, because John Hines was like a half mile from my backyard.
Yeah, so the great thing about shooting in anything outside of the main city, whether it's Delco or South Jersey, is the woods is everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is and it's not difficult to just like hit up it. We were trying to find spots. We were thinking, we'll go to the John Hines. We were gonna go to the Man Center just because there's so much like you can do there, and I don't know. It was just easier to just be like, oh wait, we have woods.
Yeah.
Call the neighbors and be like, if you hear yelling, it's us.
And
Do it again.
don't worry about the head in the box.
My parents got phone calls about the screaming that night.
Wow.
Like, is everything all right? And she was like, yeah, they're doing an acting thing, and they're like, oh, okay.
Just a bunch of 30-year-olds.
But for
Shit we should have done in high school.
for a low budget movie, right? Like, the acting was fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, all of you guys. It was hysterical, right? You guys were very authentic. Like I could picture you owning a pawn shop. Swear to God, right? You had the attitude like, yo, get out of here, right? Pull out the gun, right? And you are the typical older sister. Right? I have 4 younger sisters, right? And they act like they're my older sisters, right? You were perfect. You wanted to straighten them out. You had goodness in your heart, right? And that showed, right? And your brother, he was a putz, but that was beside the point, Well, that was his job, But that was very, very good. I thought that was authentic.
That's
Yeah.
the takeaway I'm thinking about tomorrow. Guy last night said that I throw it looks like I could pull a gun on somebody.
Yeah.
That thing was a cannon, by the way. The one that we were
That was
supposed to
a
use
real
was just like a
gun.
regular.
Oh,
That was a
wow.
real cannon from 1776,
Oh
I
my
think.
gosh.
But no, it was a big 357. It was huge.
It's
right?
like, it was
So
like
the
a-
owner of the place, the owner of this place goes, "Do you want to use mine?" And I'm like, "Is it unloaded?" I watched him unload it like 8 times, even though he only did it once. I just went over and over and over.
Oh, and you're scared shitless of the thing because it's literally just a giant piece of iron. It's like it's a legit
I didn't want to put my
spin
fingers in. You guys let it load. Like it was
Yeah.
so hard to point it at him. Like that's why, like even in the scene, I'm like I kept it on the counter. But that's how you gotta-
That was perfect.
Yeah, no, that was it's funny because so the whole reseller thing that I got in the beginning was literally the guy who helped us get that location does reselling, and that's actually one of his clients. It's actually how we got that location. And I wanted to go back and buy that gun just to have as a little prop for myself. I was gonna frame it. It would be the one thing that my girlfriend would be so mad at me having. But it'll stay behind. It'll stay in glass with a Porch Pirate poster, and
You should do it because they're going to be mad regardless.
Oh yeah, no, I smoke cigars. I start smoking cigars every time she tells me to get rid of the guns. She hates cigars too. Yeah,
Yep.
make me choose, and I'm like,
Yeah, argument diversion. I get it.
Yeah.
My father-in-law taught me that.
You gotta throw a mitt.
Jeff,
I got comments. I don't necessarily questions, comments. I know some people have already kind of mentioned this, but I thought the acting was great. The characters, even though, and I mentioned this to you, Dorna, it's like they're not supposed to be likable just because they're kind of shady, but they were so likable. Like and it was funny, but it wasn't trying to be funny. Like sometimes, like some movies will like or horror comedy, they'll like really lean into the comedy, but the way it kind of came off was just funny with the whole thing about driving in the dark. I was over here like dying laughing, and the whole I love that scene. I thought that was great. And best takeaway at the end, I love that you did not reveal the killer or like what it was. I was sitting there the whole time being like, please don't do it, like easy reveal, please don't do it.
No,
and you didn't, and I'm like, oh, that was great. Yes.
No, it's so funny because I was just talking about somebody about like 90s like every Scream movie or Urban Legend and all those. They always have the guy come out and then explain why he's doing everything,
Yes.
and it's like, get rid of that shit. Like, it's so much scarier when you don't know. And, I mean, also, again, this is my attempt at trying to be deep, but that the killer is really not. It's just us. It's every feeling we had that we want to enact on someone who's wronged us. Is really what the takeaway is. That's why the whole idea is like, do you feel bad for this loser at the end? Because everyone died but him, and he has to live with that now. And that was the one thing I kind of wanted, like, as funny as the ending was, I kind of wanted that to be the takeaway.
And also, like you said, Bobby's he's a putz.
Mm.
He's kind of an idiot, but like he's not actually a bad person. He
No.
makes terrible choices.
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody goes along with it because they either don't have the information or in some cases Ray is the one making a terrible decision and. But yeah, like they're not
Ray is
bad people.
clearly manipulating him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but even when Ray dies, you're like, you feel bad for Ray because Bobby's so torn up about it. Like,
One of my favorite scenes that stood out today was, and you mentioned this about like, you feel this emotion. So, as much as you and Bobby got on each other's nerves, and you could tell that like you just loved him as your brother, but that one scene where, he put the blanket on.
Yeah.
We've all, maybe I'm assuming a little too much, but maybe it's safe to say that we've all, put a blanket on somebody we've had an argument with.
Mm-hmm.
But I love you.
I don't want you to be cold.
I want you to be cold. And that really hit me
Yeah.
today. I was like, wow, that just stood out to me.
Yeah, it's like a real tender moment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fit in perfect.
And then immediately stealing her wine and.
Yeah.
It's.
How many times did you have to redo that scene with the blanket?
We didn't do that very many times, cause he kind of just, we knew that it was going, like, it was in the stage directions. I brought a blanket from home because Drew doesn't have any.
Who doesn't have a blanket?
But, and he just kind of like.
The mat is
I think we
literally
did
two
maybe
mattresses
3
on
times.
top of each other in that room. I don't know
Wow.
if it's that thing. It's yeah, it's not even. The man doesn't have a bed frame. I'm 34. I have a bed frame.
Please share this movie.
You know, the other thing about the movie too, and again, not to get deep or anything like that, but it just shows like when you have a drug addiction, all the bad choices
Mhm.
Yeah.
that get made, and likable characters, people are likable, and they just make bad choices.
It's like, it's so relatable.
You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows a Bobby. Is
Yeah.
Mhm.
the thing. Like everybody knows that guy who can't hold a job. And no matter, yeah. I actually heard it put the best way. I work union labor, and I heard it put the best way about a guy in our union that's kind of like that. Like he's been in and out of jail so long, more in than out, that his mind never really got past being a kid,
Mhm.
and he had to grow up in jail. So it's like you're still a kid outside,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, you're still a kid mentally, but you're now in this grown-up body, and you've done something fucked up that you're trying to make amends for, but you just don't know how to move on.
And it was neat because you had like shades of Poe with the telltale heart going in the box at the beginning, and then shades of like Dickens with him having the kids go around steal everything, you know, crackhead Bobby and all.
It was very Dickensian.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I do, right? No, but no, seriously. I mean, when you know analyzing that, it was just like you had a couple different people that you pulled from, you know, and threw it in there, and it worked perfect, you know.
Yeah, what I'm glad at is like when people actually see the movie versus just seeing the poster, they don't immediately go back to that one Kevin Spacey movie. What's the one?
What's in the box?
What's in the
7.
box?
Oh.
That's
No, I
right.
thought the ending
Love
Which I'm
Seven.
like, I've seen that movie like once. It's not the same.
I don't know. That's a great movie.
Well, I
isn't it?
like the mystery aspect of it a lot,
Yeah.
like the mystery at the end. It's like you were saying earlier, you don't know, like you were saying, Jeff, you don't know who the killer is.
I do eventually want to like tie it into a thing. I don't know if I'll make a Porch Pirate 2 with it, but I'll definitely try to tie in something with the other characters. I like the idea of expanding on the characters.
It's like a Porch Pirate verse.
Sort of. It's actually funny because Bobby's character and the Delia character were actually written in 2 other scripts I've worked on before they showed up in this one. A script I'm actually trying to develop right now called The Patron. Bobby is actually there as like this guy who the main character is like kind of afraid of because he's out on parole, and you're like, you know what the fuck he did? Because it's just the rumors surrounding him.
Yeah.
But
It's
he's
the
like,
same character.
it's the same character, and it is the same character. Like we find out little tidbits of what happens later in his life, and it turns out he is still
Being an idiot.
yeah, he's still the same guy, and he has no guidance essentially. And then the Delia character pops up in I guess it's a prequel.
Yeah,
The Mike character is about to pop up in something else too. We gotta put this guy in more
Mm.
things.
Yeah.
One thing, so you guys are cool. I think this is cool to share with you guys. So the scene when they walk into the pawn shop, actually before that, where there's the head on the thing, that was actually kind of magical because we were like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was an accident. That was like an accident for the universe because so that little thing's head came off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It literally broke in. Yeah.
But I wanted to say this to you, say thanks because so the script was I mean, at least I stuck to it pretty closely, except for when I said, "What are you gonna bring something else?" And when we shot that, I said that like kind of first. I just kind of threw it in. Everybody laughed and was like, "Oh shit! All right, hold on, let's do this again. Keep that though."
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So like, thank you for like, he definitely gave us some leeway to like,
Well, I don't.
be ourselves as
That was
comics
one
too.
of the
That was.
longest days shooting.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing was like, it's a horror film, but there was all stand-up comedians. So when you say that everybody was naturally funny, and
Yeah.
all of us, I would say I've seen and worked with all of us that are in the film. We're all monsters. So we're all very good at what we do, and all of them
Yeah.
too included. So they're just naturally funny.
Mm.
So like, even just like, who the fuck orders a severed head?
Yeah.
It's not funny, but it's hilarious.
It's just,
Mm.
yeah,
Close.
it's just
It's
delivery.
really
Mm.
unique though, like the angle that you have where you guys are all comedians and you're making like a horror comedy.
It's
The
probably why we
people
didn't
who
have to
played
lead
the
into it.
couple who got murdered
Only real actors.
are the only real.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were phenomenal, but I think they were the
But
only
it's unique.
non-actors.
Tara Beavers and Sean
Sean
Abel.
Abel.
They're brilliant.
They were
Tara,
wonderful.
Tara, you'll probably see in a couple other things. Like her, she's making her rounds as an
Cool.
actress. Sean's in a couple things too. I think he's just more of a supportive husband that would like just fit the role.
Mm.
He got roasted.
Yeah.
But he did a great job.
Mm.
Oh yeah, no,
they
he's
all
great,
sometimes,
dude.
yeah.
I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky, man. Thank you for the opportunity. And this just kind of worked out. I'm in another film this year too, and another one that we're shooting. It's probably not coming out until the end, or maybe the end of the year, but early next year. But like, it's just cool. Like, I'm a movie star now. It's cool. Like, I'm so excited. She thinks I'm on like the billboard. I'm like, no,
Aw,
I'm right by
that's
her.
sweet.
And then it's called Mistransaction. Yeah.
Is it horror?
Yeah, whisper. No, this is a comedy. It's about a bunch of drug dealers.
You got
And each one are.
like a theme going.
Yeah. This is with a separate project.
We write what we know.
But I really had to stretch for this one because I played catch.
Huh.
Completely outside of my realm.
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches.
No,
Never
honestly,
had a stitch in it.
one of the shortest shooting days was that little interrogation bit at the end with
Oh, yeah.
Mike. But we had to do so many takes because of one, it was the camera, and then two, every time I started drilling Mike a little harder, he was getting really agitated, so we had to stop. Like, it was like,
Wow.
the seat is uncomfortable. Like, it was like,
The heat, everything, like it just made it perfect. Like
Wow.
watching it, I'm like, yo, this is so like it came out great.
yeah, you remember you even said, it's like, I've been here. Like, I don't even think we lit the scene really. We just had like one light right on,
Wow.
like over top on you, and then just the mic just barely
Yeah,
over.
it's a tiny room. And if you see me do this with my shoulder, it hasn't healed in the past 5 years. So yeah, I was still like that was hurting me too. I was like, dude, I need to at least stretch and get out of this.
Yeah.
The lady that
You know.
Yeah.
the lady was the news reporter. Who's she? 'Cause she's
Oh.
familiar.
That's
Leah Renee.
she's another comedian. That's Leah Renee. She is
She's a very funny.
very
Okay.
funny lady.
But also has a great, like,
Arguably the queen of momedy right now.
she really is.
Momedy.
But she's also, like, got just very clear diction.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, she, I mean, looked and sounded like a news reporter.
Yeah.
But the way she did it, it was just like, you know, she was broadcasting out when she was speaking. You know what I mean?
So
Which was kind of cool.
I filmed like maybe 4 or 5 different people in suits on a blue screen, and she just happened to be the best one. Like
Mm.
she was like, I did a terrible job, and then the way I cut it together, I think we basically shot line for line because I'm very bad at writing dialogue, so I usually have people run with it. But the news thing happened to be robotic, so that was.
Mm.
The neighbors were great too.
Also comedians?
Yes.
Wow.
That's Ryan Shaner and Sydney Gant.
All the neighbors were also comics.
They were great, yeah.
Fantastic.
And can I just say, Belinda and Gina are the 2 older women.
Yeah.
They, like, literally, I was standing on the other side, like, Dorian was shooting them, they were talking, and I was standing on the other side, like, holding something, and we were cracking.
Was that all like improv that they did?
Yeah.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I gave them.
It was so funny.
So I don't, one thing, maybe it's because I'm still very bad at filmmaking, but
Oh no.
I'm not, I never get married to my dialogue or anything. I'm like, at some point I will be, but I give the general notes, and I even tell people like, don't. So this is actually one of my biggest gripes with a lot of people who like vet their dialogue. Is like you have to give people room to play with it, otherwise it's like, I hate to say it, like, you ever watch a sitcom and it, I think, what's the one with Kat Dennings? I just saw clips from that one, it's popping. Two Broke Girls.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed that it's good, but it's pattern, and it just sounds like people are waiting to say their next line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I hate. And I'm like, okay, so what I usually, the direction I give people is like, okay, you said it this time with the dialogue, now just run with it. Make it up if you have to,
Mm.
just roll. You know the general idea of the scene. This is the couple things you have to say, otherwise, just go on.
Well, definitely, I think doing the whole improv thing added to just the realism.
Yeah.
You know, that's what made the dialogue and the acting, I think, really is very natural, you know.
Yeah. I like watching the actors work too, like that's I'm glad, like, I mean, I couldn't afford a video village, to go, you know, sit in another room and just not watch them directly, but it's a show when you watch it direct, and like, watching them like that, in the back of my mind, I already know which lines I want the most out of each take, and sometimes we'll get it all in like 1 or 2 takes, just, cause that's how the day worked out, but like,
Sometimes
other
the
times.
best shot is completely accidental.
Yeah.
Can I tell them about the car scene?
Oh, by all means, get them, go.
Okay. How long did it take you to write the script?
Not that long, I was surprised myself. I think we wrote the first, I think I went through like 3 or 4 drafts. It took about maybe 6 or 8 months. No, that's a lie. It took about 4 months. And that's from writing just the opening scene and then trying to figure out the rest of it. So I think because we started sometime around maybe January, February, we like started writing it, and then shot the proof of concept around March, and then just said, okay, let's just make the whole thing. We got our locations, we got our cast, we got everything else, and that October we just started shooting. Yeah.
Should I tell them the story?
By all
Yeah.
means.
So, there was one day, it was the day where we were driving around South Philly, where one of the cast members, who shall remain nameless, didn't read the part of the script that we were filming.
Oh.
He
Oh my gosh.
and he was on the fly. So, when she's coming around, the girl who's like, hey, your lights are out.
True.
She pulls up, she says, like, your lights are out, and he took it like an offense, like a real offense. And can you hear it on the audio?
You should be able to hear it just light enough.
He's like, suck my dick. And then we burst out because we were like, Drew, it was Drew. It was the guy playing Bobby. He had not read what we were filming. So me and Jeff, the guy playing Ray, burst. Like, we were like, what are you doing? And that's, I think, like, it was definitely the most authentic laugh.
Yeah.
Because we knew we were going to be laughing in that scene.
Yeah.
And it was like we were having a little difficulty sort of figuring out how we were going to get
It was
to
meant
the laughter, and then
Yeah.
that happened, and we were like,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
That was definitely one of those days where every now and again you just kind of have a couple of eureka and aha moments, and that was the one, because that scene I think we added that later on. It was just, they're all going to be so relieved that they just start laughing, and it was just meant to feel like, and then it dies down again. But the fact that there was a real thing that happened and we could just play with it, that made it way better. And it, again, sometimes you just, hey man, just let the actors cook.
Yeah, it worked.
Any other questions?
Do you have any like talks of like streaming or anything? Is it already streaming? Is it gonna be streaming? Is it?
Film Hub got us licensed on a couple different things. Reveal, it's on there right now.
But it's going to be on.
It's going to be on Tubi.
Oh, alright. Alright.
No, they took it off of Amazon Prime initially licensed us and they removed the licensing. I don't know why. Tubi, baby. But I don't know.
Let me tell you, I
Film Hub does really
read
take
a headline today that Tubi has, out of like, I forget which streaming services, they're making they're making all the money right now.
Yeah,
with all their horror.
Well, Tubi's kind of I mean, that's, I describe Tubi as the video store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's it's
Mm-hmm.
like if you don't have Netflix, which is has like I use this. That's how I like to describe it. Like and it's kind of how I purposely made the movie look a little shadier than the type of cameras and equipment we use because I actually spent money on really good equipment.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to have a little bit of like I'm getting a VHS film. Like it's not.
Mhm.
Oh, I get it, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
It
they didn't.
works.
Yeah, it's
It
like,
does.
oh, they didn't have Jurassic Park. We're gonna rent Dinosaur Forest or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what Tubi is, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's great. And there's like entire movie review channels dedicated to just watching Tubi.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, well, hopefully we'll get on one of
It's a
them.
great platform.
It's awesome.
But what about
Yeah.
too, like, and you had said earlier, like, just the comedy clubs, I feel like would be a great venue because you guys are all comedians, and like, what a unique thing that you've all come together to make this movie.
Yeah.
That's like a horror comedy. Like, have you
Do
explored
you
any
promote
other?
it as a horror comedy?
Yeah, what
I've
do
been
you
promoting
like?
it as a suspense thriller.
Yeah,
But
I think.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Well,
Because
I mean,
remember like
I think
reading
there's a
like
lot of
what
depth
you
at the
sent
end
to
for
us,
a
so
horror.
after I read it, I'm like, this is kind of a horror comedy.
I mean, I definitely
Bring it
pick
to-
up on the suspense and the thriller.
Yeah,
no
it's got
doubt,
those
but-
strange
I
elements to
have
it.
categorized it on things as a satire. It's,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
my
works.
little pretension in that
Mm.
respect. No,
But to more directly answer your question,
Yeah.
there are a couple of venues that do regular comedy shows that we have had viewings at.
Oh, good, yeah.
Zembo Skate Shop and the Velvet Inn.
yeah,
Ooh.
that was a cool spot.
That's good.
We were supposed to do Helium Comedy Club, which
Right, you're
just
saying.
ended up not happening. Yeah, I was really pissed about that for a while, but I kind of have no hard feelings.
When you came to us, Delco Hard.
No, I honestly like.
We're really appreciative.
Yeah.
Really,
Oh.
this is how a seed grows, man. You get a couple people in the room to
Absolutely.
watch it.
Mm.
They talk about it. You share things, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Especially now that it's gonna be on
When you get
Tubi.
big, like, remember us.
Yeah.
We're gonna say the same thing to you. I bought 2 of them shirts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, do you have any, upcoming projects?
Right now, there's so much stuff in the work, like just that. So I finished the next like big feature script that I really want to make. That one we're trying to submit to that Set in Philly screenwriting contest. Hopefully it gets into that. Otherwise, like right now I'm gearing up to do an actual dark comedy. It's a short film.
Oh, cool.
That I'm hoping will end up being either a series or an anthology, if we get to make the rest.
Remember our film festival?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
talked
yeah.
We have a
about
short
that
film
earlier.
festival.
No, yeah, we may or may not have a location up until like September because
Yeah.
one of my friends is a real estate agent, so yeah, we're gonna use it up.
Yeah.
It's like
Contacts.
yeah, no, I mean punk rock shows back in the day used to do that, right? Oh, the house is up for sale, shit, let's throw a show in the basement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's
That
wreck
pool's
this
empty,
basement
let's
for-
go skate.
Yeah.
I think you guys are so funny for being in a horror movie. Would love to see your stand-up routine. You guys are probably a trip.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
seriously,
oh,
you know?
oh,
Yeah, where do you guys play?
Yeah,
Where do you
play? Yeah.
perform?
Well,
Like,
Ellie has her show at Zembo Temple.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Backside Comedy. I think I'm on that one. Is that
They-
next week or week after?
a week from now, Saturday.
Oh, cool.
So when is that? The 20th, the 22nd, something like that. Peggy O'Leary, Delco Queen is headlining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Queen of Delco.
Yeah,
that's,
she really
that's
is.
facts.
Yeah,
Peggy's great.
it's a nice little spot, and we have good vibes, and everybody's fun.
I was throwing shows regularly, almost twice a week for a little while, but just started a video production company. So for the past 6 months, I've literally been buried in the basement in Germantown, just cooking up. We have a bunch of shows and stuff that we're making. But what's coming out soon is Miss Transactional. Miss Evans will be on Studio Movie Girl. Just follow me on. We'll all connect when we get out of here. I'd love to see what what you guys are up to too. But yeah. And then stand up, I'm always bookable, I'm always around. Yeah. I'm filming a bunch of stuff tomorrow too, comedy wise.
Awesome.
Cool.
This is
Be a lot of
awesome.
fun. So.
Thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
out.
good job.
Thank you for letting us screen your film.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for canceling.
You're not canceled, trust me.
No,
We
if
have
we
good
have
That's just great.
one person, we're gonna show it, because like we were
Thank
talking
you.
about earlier, that one person could be the one who tells everybody else about it.
Mhm.
Well, the
And
only
it
thing-
grows from there, like you said,
The only thing I really
Let us
ask
see.
is, definitely follow social media, like subscribe to the YouTube channel, cause that's,
Mm.
so what I've come to find out is of all social media, YouTube is the hardest to gain followings on.
Mhm.
But the more that one gets up there, the more, the more eyes on it, the more I'm able to monetize, and that's where I work for myself in that
Yeah.
respect.
Make money to make more film.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
The bigger presence, YouTube carries a bigger presence than Instagram right now. So I always tell people, please, Baby Goblin Productions. You subscribe to that. My personal page is my Instagram, which is all linked to all the things. So.
Cool.
Alright,
Great
well,
job.
thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good job. Now we need some pictures.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Oh, I introduced you to Jeff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well,